Hey everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie and it's May February, my favorite things. We're at the Bedell in Runda, which is a boutique hotel and one of the longest serving boutique hotels. And I'm gonna take you on a journey of event spaces and why we do events and beautiful spaces. And this place is beautiful. Follow me. You come into this amazing foyer, and then we're going to go up the stairs. And part of today's program and next week as well, we're going to show you different event spaces. We're going to showcase them to you. How do you identify an event space? What needs to be there? And this is a beautiful space. Welcome to the series. It's May February, and this is the second part that we're doing with Jackie on a series that we started talking about events and event planning, event coordinating, event design, and all things about events. She's an amazing event planner, and she didn't pay me to say that. So now we want to take you through the different moving parts, or some of the different moving parts for putting an event together. So one of the things, Jackie, is the venue.
Yes, Mom. And it's a very crucial part in your planning. Mm-hmm. And the first discussion always starts is the type of event you want to have. And let's say, for example, we take a wedding setting. Mm-hmm. So you're looking for a wedding, and then you also look at the number of people that you want to have. Mm-hmm. So it's a key consideration about the capacity of the ground. Like here where we are at the Bedell, it's a nice intimate setting, boutique hotel. So numbers between about 150, they're about 200. So a very nice private setting. So the other things to consider when you're looking at a ground is also looking at the amenities.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is around?
Yes, what is around in terms of washroom facilities, even catering facilities for the caterer coming in to cook on site or just to deliver, or even in-house catering, which is what they have here as well. Then also looking at accessibility as well for your guests and also for the team coming to set up on site as well is very key. We also look at parking as well. Parking is a very key aspect as well for your guests will actually be aligned and stationed when they're coming in, and security is really, really key. So looking at the ground and the garden we have here, so one of the things that you're looking at is definitely the type of tent. You're looking at the mapping and the styling. So talked about earlier about event styling, and later on Mom will see a tablescape just to see what you need to consider. So looking at the layout of the land, so ideally you want a property that is at least flat.
Yes, and this is very flat.
Very flat.
Very even.
Indeed, and the even is very key.
Okay.
Yes,
even is very key as well, just so that
key.
Everything fits well. Exactly. And you're not trying to do things around things, or the ground is not balanced in some places.
Exactly, Mom. And I'm glad you brought that up because it also lends to your floor plan as well. So you can do different types of tents, and you look at different seating arrangements. And of course, if you want to do like a dance floor, different interactive settings within your place layout, what we call the tent arena, you have a lot of space to do that. So another key thing is also looking at the aesthetics. You can see beautiful greenery,
really
so much to work with, and you find.
Green.
And it's a very key thing, especially when couples are making a decision, because we find there's very little you need to do with the space.
That is true.
Yes, because there's so much beauty and just greenery, and you find it really lends to your theme. So it brings you back to what is your event styling, what is your theme. But definitely picking a good venue that has good infrastructure. The venue also giving you support as well in terms of furniture, equipment is very helpful, also helps ease on the budget as well. And looking at just what you want to have your guests experience, because really events now are just really about experiences.
Because I can just imagine even this place at night. I mean, I can imagine it at night, and you can put lights up in all the amazing greenery,
the trees,
and
actually,
the trees,
that's
you
very
know,
good idea. Yes,
and even in the bushes, it would just be really amazing. But also during the day, it just gives such a lovely pop of color because there's a lot of green. The pool is also amazing, and then the absolutely amazing grass, you know. It's just, it feels good. And I can see there is a generator, so that's also important.
It's also very key,
so that we have a backup generator in case there's anything, the power goes, that the event continues.
Exactly.
And I didn't know that they had an in-house kitchen, but you said they can cater for up to 150 people.
Yes, they can.
And the food is good.
And the food is very good. I can attest to that as well. I think also another key thing also to consider, because we are in a residential area, is your permits. So
You need permits.
yes, and as event owner, you are bound to make sure you get your event your permits for noise consideration. Some venues do require you to do a gathering permit from the police if you're going, especially going into the evening as well. And also you find that a very good equipped venue will also be able to guide you through that process as well, to also mention to you, if you don't have an event planner in your planning, they'll also mention you what you need to do to make sure that you can accomplish that as well.
Okay, and then there's something else you told me, that this ground, because it's in a residential area, and well done, Bedell, for considering the residents, they have speakers. You said there was something about the special kind of speakers that don't amplify sound outside. The sound stays in here.
Yes,
but you call them something.
They call them garden speakers. I think also because well, I stand corrected. I'm not I'm not an audio specialist, but what they said is it keeps the amplification of the sound a bit low and contained.
So it comes into the event rather than
going
outside.
Outwards. Yes. So yes, I hope I did justice in describing that. But in terms of just contains the sound, and to make sure that also they consider the environment, because this is their neighbor, so they have to a long-lasting relationship with them. So you need to also consider that as well.
I like something else that you mentioned when we're in here, that if I take this as an event space, then I get the rooms as well. I get rooms so family can stay over, or the bridal party, if it's a wedding, can stay over, or even if it's a corporate function, whatever function it is, then that's an added addition. So that's definitely a plus.
It is, Mom, it is. And just like what we said in the beginning about being of value, you also need vendors in a venue that will give you value. So having accommodation, having amenities, having a kitchen to cater, having parking, having all your considerations and ways catered for, you can have in one contained venue is such a plus.
And also lending to your vision, just because of what you've told me also, is because I think there's a certain time when the event has to end. Even there's another event we're planning, I think, in Karen, and that one there's also a consideration of the event has to end at this time, which is good, because then you decide, this is the event and it has to end at this time, which I like that as well. I think also COVID showed us, I think there's a way I felt like we used to exaggerate things. We'd be out all night until all hours, then we had curfew, so then we started learning to be at home at a certain time.
That's true, Mom.
I think there's a lot that COVID has taught us, like if it's midnight, it's time to go home.
It's true, Mom.
Or go on to another venue.
Yes, and ideally that's how it actually does end up. The party does continue somewhere else.
And those who need to go home.
Exactly, Mom. But even before COVID, of course, you'd have, and I think I was talking to someone the other day, and they're saying how I think we have a limitation of the number of venues that we have that can accommodate, should I say, a more diverse sort of scope of the event. So you find if it's more private events and in a residential area, or if you're going out of town, so different things you need to consider. Do I want to go take my guests out of town? How do I get them out of town? Is it accessible? What does it mean ferrying people from Nairobi to like maybe Tigoni or Limuru? So I think it's really good also as event planners in the industry, and even people who are owning events, venues, also considering what can they actually give in terms of package deals. So even consider those guests who want to go past into the evening, although there are some exceptions and you have to get the relevant permits. But it is a thought that we're having, because many people ask, okay, can we stay in? Do I have to move somewhere else? Can I just have everything in one place?
Yes. And then you'll probably now look for that. Consider that kind of event venue and move on there. But I love the ambience. I can hear the birds.
Yes, Mom.
It's called the leafy suburbs. It's really amazing. So now we're coming to the practical part, which is the part I love. And Jackie's going to take us through the tablescape. And this is an important element of event planning, event design, event coordination. Over to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Mom. Yes, Mom, I like what you said about event styling, which we talked about earlier as well. So the tablescape is a creative arrangement, decorative, of different aspects and elements, accessories, just to help build on the table setting. And why do we have it? And it's very important to know that this elevates the experience for your guests. It makes it memorable. Small touches. And I always say that it's a reflection of your persona brought onto the table.
Definitely.
And so in the initial planning stage, we have what we call a mood board. Now, where planner comes in and sits with you and gets your concept, and we put a visual representation of different pictures and themes to give the feel. Are you doing something whimsical, romantic, elegant, chic? So we try to display that in the mood board, and then after the mood board, we come into the visual representation.
And on the mood board, is that where you do your colors and all that?
Yes.
So decide the theme. I heard rustics, all those things. But also now put in the colors and the actual visualization of what we're trying to bring to life.
Yes, Mom.
Okay.
That's it. Perfect. So I'll just go through some different pieces that you can consider, and it's really about textures, you know, Mom. And we were talking about symmetry earlier as well. So for example, like you'd have like the placemat setting. Sometimes you have a different contrasting color like what we have here, so it can make it pop, you know, to make it just shine out. And then you have the charger plate. And you have different types of charger plates to help create that feel. And also it is a practical part of the table setting. Then we have the napkin. So something about, we talked about textures and linen. So you have the napkin linen. And then you also have the napkin ring or napkin holder, which would just help just to add that added touch to the entire setting and just to lend that theme
when
as
I
well.
look at this, it looks so different, you know?
Yes,
this
Mom.
plate without that one.
Exactly.
So maybe somebody who's a minimalist, maybe would want this.
Thank you, Mom.
People who are extra.
True.
And dramaful like me would want something like that.
It's always about the extra touch, Mom. And like I said before, it's really about your persona and just people knowing this is something definitely that the person would know that this is a depiction of who they are. And also, Mom, we have a very key part also, which is the floral centerpiece. And ideally, so rule of thumb is that you'd always do very tall, so nothing is obstructing view as you're talking, the two people seating and the tables setting as well. Or you can do lower, so make sure when you're seated, it's not blocking your eye level as you interact with each other on the guest table. So when you're looking at the florals, again, the mood boards, looking at your colors and your themes, different types of flowers that we have in the market and what they exude and the meanings behind it as well to also consider. But really, it's part of the styling as you build on. You could also use candles, and here we have LED candles, which can also work really well for a day event. You can see we're indoor, so at least you appreciate more indoor space. And then you have different aspects. You can even do a lantern. We have a Moroccan lantern there,
lantern,
which is very nice for the evening as well.
Of color,
yes, it does. And then which is really pretty as well. And then also we have things like the table numbers as well, which is very key.
Some I see are low. Some can be very high.
Yes, Mom. And the rule of thumb is that you pair it according to the height of the table, the centerpiece.
Okay.
So if it's really tall,
really high centerpiece.
Yes. Then make sure that it's at least maybe mid-level.
Okay.
Or even if you want to do place setting a bit lower. But the key thing is that it also helps the waiters and the guests also see.
Yes.
So they can know which is their table as well. Another key thing, Mom, is linens. Really. I mean, today we have a vast array of different linens and textures. I mean, the names.
Different colors. I remember having an event.
Yes, Mom.
And a lady came and we had done all the layouts and we thought we had done a really good job. But she came and took off all the tablecloths and replaced all of them, and we're like, oh my goodness. Yeah, but yes, there's a lot of the tablecloths, different colors, different textures, different contrasting colors that you could put to bring in your theme, which I really love.
That is very true, Mom. Very true. It's like what I'd call building a perfect symphony, really, of every moving part coming
like
together.
An orchestra
yes, exactly,
together.
Mom. And everyone has, and you can definitely tell when someone is off key.
Yes,
definitely. You have to make sure you bring it back and say, okay, we need to maybe go back to the drawing board and do it again. So one more thing, Mom, which has become a very big trend today is also we have the cutlery, which can be your silverware, or it could be in gold.
I've seen gold as well.
Yes, as well, Mom. Yes, you can do gold. I'm waiting for the rose gold collection to come out. That's gonna be really amazing.
That would be mine because I love rose gold.
Yes,
rose gold
Mom.
is my favorite color. They bring out the rose gold collection.
It's a wrap.
Ooh, must have an event. Have to have an event just so that we can showcase the rose gold cutlery. Oh my goodness.
It's true, Mom.
Wow, amazing.
Maybe just to also add, Mom, as well. Now, today it's been really trending. So you have the linens, but also you have glass tables nowadays.
Really?
You have mirror
and they don't
tops.
break?
No, they don't break, no. You have mirror tops, you have glass tops, and they really have lovely detail. You have silver or gold edging along the sides. And really just elevates the experience, you know. And even another part also, apart from the table as well, is also the seating.
The chairs,
Exactly.
I've seen the most amazing seats. You took me once, I think, without you on it's a factory where they have seats.
Yes.
And I was like going crazy. And of course, the one thing that I love is that whatever I like, Althea hates, and whatever Althea likes, I'm like, nah, that's too much. But we're very different in terms of personality.
Yes.
You know, I would just like to go over the top, and she says she's a minimalist. So the furniture as well is absolutely amazing.
It's very true, Mom. And that all builds towards a tablescape and the experience you want to have with your guests. So the different types of seats, we have the luxe seats nowadays with cushion, you have the rustic themed seats. And so really there's so much you can do to create that memorable experience for your guests. So really I think it's always good to take your time, work work with your planner, work with your together with your floral stylist and the team providing furniture and decor and accessories to create a lovely piece that will depict your personality and what you'd want to have for the day.
And another thing which I've remembered is the tents, because we couldn't do the tents, but I'm sure we will have some pictures. But I mean, even with the different events that we've had, I mean, I've loved the event. I loved the stretch tent. Yes. I loved I don't even know what you call it. What's the big one?
Oh, that the A-frame.
The A-frame.
Yes.
Then I think there was another one that we did what is it called? You brought us together you brought together the event planners, and we were talking about the different pieces of a tent that comes together with a see-through top, and just hearing I don't know what that one is called.
Well, I think it's still the A-frame where you have a solid or opaque covering, or you can do a clear ceiling as well. Then you have also aspects of the fairy lighting, chandeliers. You can make it as opulent as you want it to be.
And what I loved about that, and that was I think having you there as the event planner, was the fact that apparently the transparent tent, so we can want something because it looks good. But then there was the functionality, because everybody said it gets too hot during the day.
Yes.
So it depends on what time your event is. If it's in the evening, then it will have cooled down. Or it will be warm enough and then it will cool down.
Yes,
but if you have it during the day, it's too hot, you know? So I remember that. And I remember the client was like really insisting on this. Then we're like, no, everybody kept saying you can't. It's too hot. You have to put something. So you may want the effects of the transparency, but then you haven't thought about the functionality, even the people setting it up and what time they set up. And you also have to consider, because I think I've been hanging around you too much, but you have to consider like when to do the event. Are they charging for the setup and then the set down and bring it down? Of course, watching over people's property, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's always good to, and I think people are learning to embrace that more, is really reading the fine print. Read the contract, understand what the scope is and what you're binding to for the venue. And also there's a responsibility that you have as event owner to also return the venue intact the way you received it. So definitely like what we talked about earlier about that site visit, and we had to discuss about the days required for setup. So you'd find sometimes, so even we have ceiling installations where you do fabrications in the actual tent. That takes time. Even in tile floorings as well. So that would mean that you need some extra days, maybe 4 or 5 days. So what does that mean? Will the venue give you at cost? Will they give you a discounted fee? And can you negotiate? And that's we come in as event planners for that value add, because we understand the process, what it means to actually deliver on that type of styling and event. And we come and negotiate with the respective venue and different vendors to create value for you to make sure that we actualize the dream and vision you have for your event.
Okay. So I hope you're a bit the wiser concerning events, and I really love this, and I think even we'll do more, because I'd love to go, like if you I'm sure you'll get the permission, but I'd love to go to the actual places where there's the different kinds of chairs, the different kind of tables, and we can do this because we can keep growing the concept, because we're giving you wisdom, you know, we're giving you opportunities. Nobody has paid us, we're not being paid, this is not paid advertising, but there are people who have really gone out of the way to create beautiful pieces, you know. I kept oohing and eyeing in this particular hall because there were all sorts of things, lanterns, small ones, short ones, big ones. Oh, I was just going completely crazy, and I didn't have an event, but I was like, wow, this is so amazing, and just putting things together. And you know, another thing that came out, I remember having a discussion with somebody who was not feeling like, why are we going into all this trouble? And I felt, for me, it's a sign of honor. You know, I felt it's you honor. You know, you honor your guests, you know. You honor the guests who are coming. And so the more detail that you put into it, the attention that you put in it, shows that you honor them. That's why people go out of their way to do good things and to do great things and to put on amazing displays, because we want to honor those who are coming, for whatever reason they are coming. We want to show them that you're important and that we care. And I always love the initial, like, wow, you know, the response, the way it makes the guests respond, you know. They're like, wow, this is really nice, and then it gives people pressure as well. It helps all of us to up our game, you know, in how we are hosting and how we are executing events. So one of my favorite things is events. I love them. I love all the moving parts and putting it all together and deciding who we're going to do what with. I have hospitality background, so I also love the symmetry. I remember having a restaurant and all the forks, all the knives, everything has to be in one line, and that was fun as well. And that's just excellence, you know, just bringing a spirit of excellence to what we do.
That is true.
Yeah. So contact Jackie. This is also done by Floral Art, so I work a lot with Floral Art as well. So contact Jackie. Let's make your events resplendent. Do you have any parting shots, Jackie?
Well, just to enjoy the journey of the experience, trust your event planner, ask questions, own the process, and just be part of the end result as well, and be proud of what you do at the end of the day.
And pay for the service. I think there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of details that go into it. So pay for the service. And then also, I don't know how to say this. I wanted to bring it up, but like if you have any kind of, you're not both on the same page or with whoever you're planning with, it helps to have an event planner. I believe that they become the middle person, you know, so they are like a mediator and a peace bringer and coordinator to the event so that it works well and then you achieve then your vision.